Oh, hi guys. It's just me, Trevor Trout, and my beautiful and talented girlfriend, Sarah Chambers. Say hi, Sarah.
Hi guys.
Now, if you notice behind me, I am in our very small kitchen, here to prove a point, that you can make a highly nutritious meal out of a plant-based diet pretty much anywhere. Even if you just have a hot iron, you can make this awesome, delicious meal. We're going to be actually making two different recipes out of similar ingredients to help cut down on prep time. Now, you're probably looking at the ingredients here and saying, I don't see a whole lot of meat. And you're right, there is no meat on here at all. Well, your next question is probably going to be, well, where's the protein at? It's right here. Now, when it comes to protein, a lot of people think, well, I need to have 60 grams of protein a day. In all reality, all you need to have is 0.4 grams of protein times your actual body weight. So, super simple, 0.4 times whatever you weigh. And that's going to be great for just your average Joe. Now, if you're looking to gain some muscle mass, or if you're an athlete looking for some strength, you're going to want to do 0.8 grams times your weight. And if you're looking to run some marathons, it's going to be 0.6 times your weight. Hope all that makes sense. If it doesn't, you can ask questions underneath here in the comments section. Now, I'm going to bring Sarah in front of the camera, but just again to reiterate, we are going to be doing two different recipes with similar ingredients to help cut down on prep time. And this is going to be really quick and easy. It's going to take about 30 minutes. So, Sarah, are you ready?
Yep.
I hope you guys are ready, because it's going to be yum yum time in no time.
Hi guys. The first of the two recipes we're going to be making is stuffed peppers. The second is a kind of medley of things. Sweet potatoes, black beans, onions, and peppers. So without further ado, we'll get started. I pre-cooked the rice and beans because that's the majority of your prep time is in preparing these. A way to cut down would be to use canned beans, but that is more expensive. But if that's how you can eat healthy, then so be it. So the first thing we're going to do is get our mixing bowl out. Okay, so in our mixing bowl, we're going to put our cooked rice. This is about 1.5 cups uncooked. So dump that in there. Altogether, this is 4 cups of black beans. So 4 cups pre-cooked, you end up with this many post-cooked. And since we're going to use two recipes, we're going to dump about half of these in our recipe for our black beans, and then leave the other half for our other recipe. So you can just kind of odd what you believe would be half or so. And then also in our stuffed peppers, who doesn't like stuffed peppers, right? Usually they're made with hamburger, but ours are going to be made with beans and have just as much protein without all the artery clogging stuff that we find in beef. So also in our stuffed pepper mix, we're going to add some diced red onion. I really like onion. You can put however much you like in there. I cut up 2 small onions to put in there. And then some corn. You can use canned corn if you want. Frozen corn is usually frozen at the peak of freshness, so it's a little bit more nutritious and it doesn't have the added chemicals of the canned corn. Then we're going to add our spices. We're going to add about 2 tablespoons of chili powder. That's what chili powder looks like. A tablespoon of garlic. You can use fresh garlic if you want. This just gives it some seasoning, a little bit of taste. And then I also like to add smoked paprika because it gives it a smoked taste, and for folks who are used to eating meat, it can kind of fulfill some of that need to have a savory taste. So just a few shakes of smoked paprika. Then we're going to add a cup of salsa. You can also use canned tomatoes. Homemade salsa would be preferable. A cup of that. Alright, this is I believe what is called a stock pot. This is what I use to boil the beans in. If you're into boiling beans, you want to cut down on the cost, I recommend that you boil your beans. This is the size of pot you want, but we're going to dump this in there because I underestimated, I guess. Now our stuff is in there. We can just mix it up. Taste it, adjust it to your liking. I'm gonna add more salsa if you want it to be more tomato based, which I like, so I'm gonna add some more. This jar of salsa, I believe, was $1.40 at Aldi's. It's organic, so it doesn't have any pesticides in it. Sometimes I like to add little cherry tomatoes. You can really stuff peppers with whatever you like. This is kind of a more traditional recipe. Now for our stuffed peppers, you want to cut them in half, and if you've never had a pepper before, this is how you do it. Just cut it down the middle. You want to clean out the top of it. You can eat that if you want. It might be a little tough, but it's completely edible. There you go, there's your pepper. We're going to stuff these. Before that, we're going to cover them in some oil. You want to use a high temperature oil. You can either use avocado oil, grapeseed oil, coconut oil. I'm going to use coconut oil if I can get it open. You might have to open this. Okay, we're good. You have to use your hands for this part, so make sure your hands are clean from puppy germs and everything. So you're just going to take your halves and coat them in coconut oil. Keeps them from burning and sticking to the bottom of the pan, which you don't want. The prep time for this recipe is fairly quick. Once you have the rice and beans already cooked, it probably takes less than 10 minutes to do this part, and then you're going to bake it in the oven for about 30 to 40 minutes, but you can walk away and just let it bake. So, like I say, about 10 minutes of actual prep time. For this recipe, I use 6 peppers, and then you're just gonna spoon your pepper mixture into the peppers. Best way to get it in the grooves again is to use your hands. Okay, so we spared you the part of me stuffing the peppers. It only takes about 2 or 3 minutes. But now they're all stuffed. They're ready to go in the oven. We want to get some foil and get some foil and cover them. You want to preheat your oven to 400, cover them for 30 minutes, and then you're going to take the foil off and cook them for an additional 15 or so minutes. Here they go. Put it in the oven. And it's off. Okay, this next recipe doesn't have a name, but it tastes really amazing, all the ingredients together. My friend Cindy Parker introduced me to this recipe. It goes really great with some asparagus or a side of Brussels sprouts, but it has your carbs, slow releasing sweet potatoes, they don't cause your blood pressure to spike, black beans for your protein, some onions for, they're antiviral, keep you healthy, keep you from getting sick, and peppers, which have great vitamin A, C, B. So it's a really kind of, we talk about superfoods, it's one of those superfood recipes. We cut up 4 sweet potatoes. You just kind of, well, I would show you, but I don't want to waste the sweet potato. So you just dice it and then cut it in halves. So it's about that size. And the rest of our black beans, about 2 cups black beans. And we're going to use an oil to saute them with. I recommend canola oil because it's heart healthy. 2 tablespoons of oil. Transfer our sweet potatoes to our pan. So our sweet potatoes are in there. Cover them up. It helps them retain some of the moisture and not get too dry. Put them on about medium heat, maybe 10 minutes until they get soft. Okay, so the sweet potatoes have been cooking for about 7 or 8 minutes. As you can see, they've started to soften up. In the meantime, we're going to add the rest of our ingredients over here. So this recipe is only sweet potatoes, black beans, onions, and peppers. We've already diced some of our peppers over here. How I dice the peppers for this recipe, you can do it however you like. I like them in thin strips, kind of similar to the onions. I cut the peppers in half the same way I did the green ones. You want to take out their stalk, just slice them. You Make sure you keep your fingers out of the way. Slice them in thin strips. Just cut them down the middle, and they're ready to go in the pan. The same way with the onions. This is an onion half that I then slice this way, and as you can see, they're in thin strips that break apart really great for the purpose of our stir fry here. So we're going to add this stuff to our pan. Getting heavy over here. Usually I make this recipe with red peppers. All peppers amazingly have a different taste. I would recommend red peppers. We just had orange ones that we needed to get rid of. So we added those to our pan. I'm going to kind of break apart our onion once it's in the pan. You don't add your black beans until it's almost done because they've already been cooked, and if you add them too soon, they'll turn to mush. You want it not crispy, but not mushy. Let it cook for, I'd say, probably another 6 or 7 minutes, and it'll be good. And then we'll add our black beans and spices, and then it's done from there. Okay, so our sweet potatoes have been cooking about 20 minutes, which is long enough. You want to cook them, like I said, until they're not, no longer hard, but not mushy. So these are about right. So from here, we're going to add some herbs. It's just thyme, rosemary, sage, maybe a little oregano. This is dill. Tastes a little bitter, but it's also a good herb. Just shake some over the top. Like I say, if you don't have any of this, use what you have. You do want to add some cumin. It's what makes this dish. You need some cumin and thyme at least. If you have nothing else, add cumin, thyme, salt and pepper, and you're good. If you can find those extra things, even better. 1.5 teaspoons to 2 teaspoons of each. But as I say, you can just season to your taste buds. And I mix it up, and if it doesn't look like there's enough seasoning in part of it, I'll add some more. If it doesn't taste like it, add some more. Always start off with less than you think you'll need. I'm just going to add some salt and pepper. You can use pepper more liberally. Watch the salt and your blood pressure. Maybe 1/2 teaspoon of salt. We're going to add our beans, and then it'll be ready to serve. So remember, we already pre-cooked our beans. So we just add those into the mix and stir them in there. This would serve 4 people easily. Especially, serve it with a side of roasted asparagus or Brussels sprouts. You could easily eat quite a few meals off of this. And there you go. There's your final product. Okay, now that our first dish is done and our peppers are still cooking, it's been about 30 minutes since we put them in there on 400 degrees. So we want to check and see if they're ready to have the foil taken off. We'll take the foil off now, cook them for another 20 minutes, and then they'll be ready. While our peppers are finishing cooking, we're going to prep what I like, the condiments I like to put on top. You don't have to add this stuff, but it's something I like, so feel free to try it. We're going to use an avocado. And for folks who have never cut an avocado, it can be a little tricky. So you just cut down the middle and half it. If it wants to cooperate, I just bought this one today. So, and then once it's halved, cut along within, maybe cut it in half. You scoop out the flesh of it, and it's in neat little serving sizes. So there's our avocado. Cilantro is really good on top. I just cut the stems off, and you just kind of bunch it up however you see fit. Put on top. And then if you like lime juice, you can have a lime squeeze on top. Trevor loves hot sauce on everything, so of course we have to add hot sauce. So our peppers are ready. We'll get them out and take a look at them. And there we have 6 servings of food in the peppers. There are 4 servings. Take a look at this pan. I assume this is probably much more than 4 servings, but for me, I could probably make 4 servings out of this because I like to eat. So altogether here, we have 10 servings of food for around $15. That doesn't include the cost of the spices. A lot of folks have those on hand. If you don't, I recommend investing in those because those really help bring out the flavors of your food. You want good spices. But aside from the spices, this is $15 worth of food. around 10 meals or 10 serving sizes. That equals out to about $1.50 per meal. You know, and we can go fast food for much more expensive than $1.50. So that myth that it costs too much to be healthy, no, not necessarily. Okay, so I'll just show you how I top the peppers. One whole pepper is a serving size. So when you look at this, this is a lot of food. So this is considered one serving. Within this, there are 25 grams of protein. And then you just top with whatever you like. So you can add some cilantro, some avocado. Watch with the avocado, it has saturated fats which are good for you. But at the same time, you know, if you eat in excess like anything, you will gain weight. So that's probably a sufficient amount. And then you can use the salsa we used. Trevor's telling me to get the Franks. Are you going to eat this?
I'm going to eat that.
I'm going to put lime on mine. So he doesn't know what a portion of hot sauce is. He'll probably add more.
I will.
Okay, and so we're finished for today. If you have any questions about how to eat healthy on a limited budget, please feel free to reach out to Trevor or I. I've been eating a plant-based diet for nearly 20 years now, Trevor for a few years. So we, you know a lot, but we want to share the knowledge that we have to enable people to live more healthy. Thanks for cooking in Sarah's tiny kitchen.
Peace out.
Peace out.
A-Town down.